Pull up a chair. This is Models and Agents, episode 59 for May 25th, 2026. Your daily AI briefing. Monday in the AI world, which means a weekend's worth of announcements to catch up on. Let's go. Dataset's new /key jump menu now launches agent conversations directly from your databases. Simon Willison shipped Dataset 1.0 Alpha 30 with a keyboard-driven jump to menu that plugins can extend. The datasette-agent plugin adds a conversation starter form directly into that menu. New Extract 3, a new 4 billion parameter vision language model, arrived on Hugging Face for structured extraction and Markdown conversion from documents. A custom inference engine now runs Mini CPM v4.6 on the Ascend 310B NPU inside the $149 Orange Pi AI Pro board. These small, targeted releases lower the friction for mixing data exploration with agent workflows this week. The top story this week is the Dataset release that turns a data exploration tool into a lightweight launchpad for agent sessions. Dataset 1.0 Alpha 30 introduces a jump to menu triggered by the /keyboard shortcut. Users can type to reach databases, tables, or canned queries without leaving the interface. The release includes plug-in hooks so extensions can inject additional content into the menu and its empty state. The Dataset-agent plugin uses this hook to surface a form that starts a new agent conversation. A live demo is available at agent.dataset.io after GitHub sign-in. More implementation details appear on the Dataset blog. Teams already running Dataset can upgrade to 1.0 Alpha 30 and test the plugin immediately. Now for the model updates. New Extract 3 is a 4 billion parameter vision language model released on Hugging Face. It handles both structured JSON extraction from text or images and high-quality image to Markdown conversion. The model accepts text, images, or mixed inputs and supports multilingual documents, plus separate reasoning and non-reasoning modes. GGUF, NVFP4, MLX, and VLLM quantized versions are already available. Builders working on document pipelines, OCR, or RAG preprocessing should test it on receipts, invoices, and tables this week. Next, Chwen 3.6, 27B, and 35BBF 16 models were benchmarked on a 2x RTX Pro 6000 setup, using the latest stable VLLM backend. At 64 concurrency, the 27B model reached 1,600 tokens per second generation without MTP and 1,800 tokens per second with MTP2 enabled. The 35B model hit 2,700 tokens per second at 64 concurrency and 3,500 tokens per second at 128 concurrency. It also delivered 30,000 tokens per second prompt processing. These numbers come from a personal project and give concrete throughput expectations for mid-sized Chwen variants on dual professional GPUs. A custom C++ inference engine was written from scratch to run Mini CPM v4.6 natively on the Ascend 310B NPU inside the $149 Orange Pi AI Pro board. The engine bypasses torch_NPU entirely on the hot path. It uses custom Ascend C kernels for cube matmul, L_head chunking, and vectorized causal conv 1D to reach 5.90 tokens per second FP16 after incremental optimizations. Python is used only for cold path tokenization and image preprocessing. Anyone targeting Edge VLM deployment on this hardware now has an open source starting point at the linked GitHub repo. Mining Lamp AI released Cider, a small SDK that adds W8A8 activation quantization on top of MLX for Apple Silicon. On an M5 Pro, the change reduced prefill time for a 4B VLM from 2.839 seconds to 2.519 seconds at 4,516 token context. Decode speed stayed essentially flat. Per channel INT8 tensor ops require M5 or newer, while M4 falls back to the regular path. The repo includes accuracy numbers on Wikitext 2 for Chwen 3.8b and Llama 3.8b showing modest perplexity impact. Now turning to agent and tool developments. A developer released AI Sandbox-Manager, an LXC-based VM template system that gives agents full pseudo access, GPU pass-through, and browser automation while isolating them from the host. The setup supports multiple concurrent sessions, persistent .env files, and hooks to block dangerous Git operations. It was built and tested on DGX Spark hardware, where standard Docker GPU pass-through is difficult. The repo includes CUA for computer use support on Linux. A new repo called MCP from scratch walks through building a model context protocol server and client in plain Node.js. It then adds local GGUF inference via Node Llama CPP and a custom plan act observe agent loop. The later modules demonstrate MCP sampling and tool use with a local model, plus an optional LangChain path. The project is intentionally minimal and aimed at developers who want to understand the protocol mechanics rather than use a high-level SDK. In the practical and community section, a pull request to ggml-org/llama.cpp improves checkpoint creation. Agentic coding sessions no longer force full prompt reprocessing after context rewriting tools modify history. The change targets the common pattern where an agent produces 20K plus tokens of code, and the next short user message triggers expensive reprocessing of 70K token contexts. Early users report noticeably more responsive agentic coding loops after adopting the patch. Okay, let's pop the hood on activation quantization. Everyone talks about activation quantization as if it is a simple turn-on INT8 switch that always delivers free speed. In practice, it requires custom kernels that only compile on newer silicon and trades small accuracy losses for prefill gains that appear mainly at longer contexts. The CIDR implementation registers metal primitives, so the per-channel W8A8 path runs 1.84 times faster than W8A16 at M equals 4096. Yet decode speed barely moves because memory bandwidth remains the limiter. On M4 hardware, the same code silently falls back, showing that the technique is gated by hardware tensor op support rather than software availability. Perplexity impact stays under 0.2 points on 8B models when using per-channel scaling. Per-group scaling tightens the bound further when precision matters more than the 300 millisecond prefill saving. The gotcha that bites most teams is assuming the speedup will appear on every workload. Short context chat sees almost none of the benefit, while long document RAG preprocessing sees the full win. Use it when your pipeline is prefill heavy and you control the deployment hardware. Otherwise, stick with wait-only quantization until the next silicon generation lands. Here are the things to try this week. Install the datasette-agent plugin on datasette 1.0 alpha 30 and test the /jump menu to launch agent conversations directly from your tables. Pull new extract 3 from Hugging Face and run it on a batch of scanned invoices to compare its structured JSON output against your current OCR plus prompt pipeline. Clone the AI Sandbox-Manager repo if you need a persistent GPU-enabled sandbox for computer use agents that survives host reboots. Try CIDR on an M5 Mac with any MLX model to measure prefill improvement on your longest context workloads before deciding on wider adoption. On the horizon, more plugin authors are expected to extend the dataset jump menu now that the hook is public. Additional quantized versions and fine-tunes of new Extract 3 are likely to appear on Hugging Face within days. The llama.cpp checkpoint PR is under active review and may land in the next stable release. Edge VLM experiments on Ascend hardware will probably produce more custom kernel repos following the mini CPMV example. Tomorrow, keep an eye on the llama.cpp checkpoint PR status and any new dataset plugins that extend the jump menu. That wraps up today's AI briefing. Share this with a developer or builder who wants to stay current. Subscribe wherever you listen. See you tomorrow. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.